Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Housewives Edit. My name is Elle and I am here to talk about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. Now, if you are watching this video, I am sure the first episode of the reunion has already aired, but we're still going to cover this trailer because it was just so jam-packed of so much editing goodness. I saw so many comments online of people talking about just how amazing this edit was, and I have to agree, it was so good. As long as I don't have a baby in the next like 24 hours, I will also be covering the reunion. Thank you guys as always for subscribing, liking the videos. Some of you have sent me super thanks. I can't even thank you for all of the support. This has been such a fun experience for me. I'm just so happy to know all of you guys. So thank you so much for your comments, likes, subscribes, all of the things. But no more talking, let's just jump right into it.
I don't want to sit here for a toast.
Okay, so I'm going to be stopping this a lot. Right off the bat, we get a timestamp. We get 9:47 on like a drone shot of Beverly Hills, Los Angeles area. What I love about this is it has this opaque pink hue to the actual titles. I know that's so weird, but those little details matter so much. Fonts, colors, the opacity of the text, all of those things make a trailer or make, a video or whatever more aesthetically pleasing. I just love that they picked that sort of pink hue. It kind of matches some of the dresses that we're seeing up there, but they also made it opaque, so it's not totally just bold right in your face. You can still see some of the cityscape behind it. And not only that, you have the dramatic music underneath, and what do? We start with a dramatic moment of Kyle at the end of the reunion, obviously, because that's when the timestamp is, saying she doesn't even want to do a toast. So this is giving us right away this feeling of like, wow, we're not even getting a happy ending? Or are we? Is it going to shift after that? Are they going to stay longer? Are they going to try to work it out? Those are all the questions that should be going through your mind. Regardless, by putting this clip first, it's hooking us into the trailer in a way that really, if they didn't have that moment, it just wouldn't hook us the same way. You see them on other trailers try to hook us in, but this is a really, really good hook because they're starting from the end and working their way backwards. There's so many movies that do this where they start at the end, you see the last scene and you're like, how can they ever get past this moment, right? And then they say 1 year earlier, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to work all the way up to that moment, but it keeps you totally engaged, and that's what they did with this trailer.
Toast, can I leave?
Doug, what do you want to do here? Kyle's a wreck.
Okay, and then they cut to Andy, and he's even breaking the fourth wall and talking to Doug like a producer about this moment, which makes it even more exciting. You guys know that it's always lean in moments for us when they talk to producers, and especially if Andy is calling on a producer or calling on whoever this is, it's huge. And then they show the reaction shots of all of the ladies. They all look uncomfortable. They look like this was not a good experience, and it's really informing how we feel about our excitement about this reunion.
I need to end up in a better place here with her than when she came.
Okay, so they do this rewind, little transition where they're showing 23 minutes earlier with this rewind transition, obviously doing that same really pretty bold lettering with that pink opaque look, which is very Beverly Hills, very, dare I say,
really very chic.
Then they cut to another moment with Kyle talking about Kathy.
I need to end up in a better place here with her than when she came.
If you can hear the music, it's ramping up. It's these kind of frantic violins, which are really, really dramatic. They put a lot of violins in horror movies, but they also do it in chase scenes, war movies, things like that, where it's supposed to be heightening, almost like your heart rate is moving up. There's a speed ramp with the violins, so it's getting more and more urgent. And obviously what she's saying is really impactful, and you see sort of the reactions of the ladies there too.
With her than when she came.
You're gonna hurt her, and she's the one that's your friend.
Okay, so again, we're going 1 hour earlier. Now, this is not just to put timestamps on it so we're like, okay, this was a long day. This is really to say this conversation is the meat of the entire reunion. If they've already shown us this at the beginning and they've shown us that they cover this for at least an hour and where the other ladies are getting involved, right? Garcelle talking to Lisa, all this, we know that the promise of the premise, as I've talked about before, is that there's a huge conflict with Kyle and Kathy and everyone's talking about it.
I don't need any drama.
Fight with
Do you know
everybody. What you did to my sister, and you drove Lisa Vanderpump off the show. I mean, the list can go on and on.
Okay, so now we're at 2 hours earlier, and not only are we talking about it between Kyle and Kathy, but we're really talking about, Kathy coming after Lisa for what happened. So what all it is for you guys who have watched this channel for a while is building. They started with a moment of Kyle, which was, a sad moment to see her, going through this with Kathy, which we kind of all foresaw was going to happen. Then they keep heightening and heightening and heightening it, right? Not only is Garcelle talking to Lisa about her, but Kathy's coming after Lisa. And it's like, whoa, we did not expect that. So here we are, 45 seconds into the trailer. And I know that a lot of you felt this way, and especially if you're watching this video, we should all be like, oh my gosh, I'm not missing this. The people that make these shows, their whole goal is to get us to watch. Because if we watch, what happens? We watch the commercials. And if we watch the commercials, what happens? They can sell commercials for more money. Of course, they want to make great TV, but really from the back end, they really want to make entertaining, fun stuff that gives us a lot, but also is going to be financially rewarding for the network so they can continue to do programming for us. It's a win-win situation. If you guys get annoyed with, I don't know, ads or commercials or anything like that, just don't. It's really to be able to support them so they can support us with great programming. Anyway, that aside, 45 seconds in, we should be like, there's no chance I'm missing this. There have been other seasons of other franchises where I've been like, do I need to see that reunion? Of course, I always watch them, but there's moments where I'm just like, oh, do I need to? But this one is like, I can't miss, definitely going to happen. That's hopefully how you should feel too.
Light them up, guys. Show them the way through.
Oh my God, we're at the...
Okay, so then they do this rewind all the way back to 10:53 a.m. And remember, we started at 9-something p.m., so we know it's a long day. It's almost 12 hours long. You see the ladies filing into the soundstage, wearing their stuff. You hear Kyle talking about it. It's so fun to see a peek behind the curtain of this soundstage. You guys see the beautiful stage. Well, we'll keep watching.
God, we're at the Beverly Hills Hotel.
All this talk about Mo and Dorit.
Okay, so I love that stuff. I haven't seen that in a ton of trailers, but I think it really added a lot of great spice to this trailer. They're doing the dirty shot, showing the beautiful set with the camera in the foreground, so we feel like we're behind the scenes, which we are. They show Kyle on the monitor instead of just Kyle sitting in the scene. So again, a behind the scenes shot. We get Andy's teleprompter. Teleprompters are so cool because they're right in the lens, right? So I'm sitting here, I'm talking straight to my lens. Now, if there were cue cards over to the side here telling me what to say, which I don't have cue cards or anything, but if they were, I would be looking over here and looking back at you. What Andy's doing, he's looking straight into the lens, and the teleprompter is actually like, picture like a glass screen on top of the lens, so he can be talking to the lens, but also speaking the words off the teleprompter. And I just love that we got to see a little moment of that. I can't remember seeing that in another trailer. So that was super exciting for me. They're showing the behind the scenes. They're showing them sort of getting comfortable. This is the stuff that also gets us like, ooh, it's like, it's shooting day, it's getting exciting, and we're already peaked from the beginning of the trailer.
When Dorit having an affair.
And then I heard we were swapping.
Before PK met Dorit, this guy walks up to me, my friend, he goes, hey, you two chicks in porn? And Paul Kemsley.
Oh.
I don't think I even know that.
Okay, so they started with two light moments, right? They addressed the rumors about Mauricio and Dorit, which I think are just like, that's such a funny rumor to me, but obviously they played with that a little bit in the season.
We had to take the wives out of the who wins. Who wins?
Your wife.
No.
Then they come up with this light thing that Erica says about how she, I guess, met PK, before he even met Dorit, and then Dorit's like, I didn't even know that, which you know, they're just little moments for us that go like, oh, there's going to be more exciting stuff that maybe that we don't know. They're going to address some of the stuff that we think about, you know, the rumors about Mauricio and Dorit. They're going to address those things, but it's also light moments. Remember, we started with some dark moments. We go into like production, which is exciting, and now we get some lighter, more fun moments. If you guys remember, I covered the Salt Lake City trailer, and they did this kind of exact same thing where they started with heavy moments, they went a little bit lighter, and then ended heavy again. And I was talking to you guys about that this is a technique that can really, really work if you have the heavy moments. And that's why I was slightly a bit afraid watching that Salt Lake City trailer, because the heavy moments that they used at the beginning to me felt like maybe slightly forced or just didn't have the dramatic impact that I kind of hoped for. But these moments that they were able to use, these darker, heavier moments at the start of the trailer, these had some weight to them, so it really, really worked. So now they're going into the lighter stuff, and let's see what they keep doing.
Where'd you get the cat sweater?
That is a cute sweater.
Not for a date.
Do you have some regular friends with benefits?
Well, you have to have a roster. It's like a team.
Okay, again, so two more like silly stuff, just sort of addressing stuff that maybe, I don't know, they've seen viewers talk about, you know, Erika Jayne's roster, and then, you know, Sutton's cat sweater, which I think when that happened, when that, I think it was a confessional, no, it was the date she went on, she wore that sweater, and everyone was like, wait, what? Why are you wearing that? And then they have, you know, Kyle joking with her about, you know, that's not something for a date. And then they have a weird reaction shot from Rinna, almost like judgmental, like I hate you type reaction shot, which was kind of like over a light moment. It might be from something else, or it might have been she was reacting to that exact moment. I don't know, we'll have to see when it comes out. But again, they're keeping it light, keeping it kind of frivolous, keeping it fun, so that we know it's not just gonna be a bummer. We don't wanna watch a bummer. We do come to this for drama, but we come to it for both sides. We talked about this in the Birkins and Bubbles party. That was a light, fun party. We haven't had that for a while on Beverly Hills, and it was kind of nice to be back in that space.
Your social media is disastrous.
Put me on pause.
Okay, so a quick moment before Rinna says put me on pause. They did sort of this transition where it almost looks like an X-ray. It takes the color out and it flashes and it gives you sort of this like blue, like X-ray feeling to it. They always do these transitions when they're about to transition to something that's different than the mood that they were just setting. It's kind of like a shift in the tone, right? Andy's talking about her social media and how it's a nightmare. And then she says,
Pause.
Is Erika her own worst enemy?
You're out of control.
No, I was not.
okay, so now we're hitting all the storyline points from the actual season. So Rinna being a nightmare on social media, she says, put me on pause. I'm assuming she's saying to Andy, like, I don't need this show. Like, she's got that vibe, which, yeah, they go to Kyle kind of addressing Erika on you were out of control. We don't know if she's talking about, you know, the moment at Garcelle's party, you know, towards her son. We don't know if she's talking about the drinking, but they're hinting at stuff that's going to basically resolve storyline from the entire season for us. Remember, the entire season, they're building storylines with these characters, and honestly, to me, just from an editorial perspective, and just an overall kind of like, I don't know, narrative perspective, I believe that the reunions are there to sort of resolve the storylines that were in the season, so then when they start a new season, we start fresh with something new, not something we're getting tired of. Some storylines we don't get tired of, some storylines are just innate to the characters, but with a lot of stuff, what they're trying to do is sort of resolve it in the reunion, and they're showing us moments of possibly those resolutions.
Agree. He's 14.
Did you think she was behind it?
I did think she was behind it, absolutely.
You turned the earrings over.
Okay, so we got our Diana flash of her on Zoom. That was just so funny to me that she's like, I'm not even gonna show up. She didn't even really say a word in this trailer, which I think is kind of, you know, it shows us kind of how much she had input-wise in this reunion and, you know, her possibility of maybe coming back. But we do see Garcelle address with Erica about her son, and then they hint at the rumor that someone was behind, you know, the campaign against her son, her 14-year-old son, on social media, but she doesn't say who it is. She does say, you know, he was 14. It feels like that where she's addressing Erica, but then Andy says,
Did you think she was behind it?
we don't know who that she is. Is Garcelle talking about Diana being behind it? Is Garcelle talking about Lisa? Is she talking about Erica? Who is she talking about? I do think when they flash to Diana there, maybe they're trying to hint to us that Garcelle is saying that she thinks Diana was behind it, because remember Diana did all those cease and desist saying like she wasn't behind it. Anyway.
Over.
Yes.
You're trying to get them back, though.
We're on appeal for legal reasons.
Words like,
Okay, so Andy, you know, addresses the earrings, which is another storyline. We get a couple reaction shots from Garcelle and Lisa when she says that she's trying to appeal to get the earrings back, which obviously is giving us a little bit of clue of like, not everyone is just totally on Erica's side in this reunion. You know, even her friend, her really good friend Lisa, is kind of giving a reaction like, oh, that doesn't feel right. So again, more conflict, more building, more heightening.
words like violated.
Didn't you say you felt violated when someone broke into your home?
Yeah, but someone broke into my home, they didn't bring me a jacket.
Seemed like you maybe...
Okay, so I love those little pieces where like Crystal says the thing about,
Didn't you say you felt violated when someone broke into your home?
Kyle comes back with a little quip.
Yeah, but someone broke into my home, they didn't bring me a jacket.
And then they cut to Crystal with her saying absolutely nothing, which we all know if we've watched these reunions, Crystal definitely said something back there. She didn't just give a look. Maybe she did just give a look. She was trying to compare apples to oranges, I think. And also, like, wasn't that a storyline plot from like last season? Or was it at the beginning of this one? I don't know. I kind of forget that whole situation. What I can't believe they didn't include in this trailer was the little exchange between Kyle and Crystal about the 14 friends. I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was a teaser that came out showing Crystal and Kyle kind of going at it about the 14 friends, and I thought that would have been great in this trailer. Crystal, to me, this is not editing related, but this is just me having fun. I actually kind of like her on the show because I think she's a voice of reason. I think she's very nice, but there is stuff brewing underneath there. The 14 Friends stuff, which we haven't heard a lot about, but there were also some moments in her first season. There was this one moment that I remember. Do you guys remember this? There was this moment where she's sitting at the table, I think with like Kyle, Dorit, a couple other people, and she's talking about Sutton, and they say something like, I've never heard of her before. Like, I've never heard of her name before. And Crystal sort of like does this really mean girl thing where she's like, yeah, I've never heard of her before. And I remember seeing that moment and going like, ooh, we have a bit of an elitist mean girl here. And then of course she kind of comes off with this like, oh, I don't do glam and I don't like to spend money or whatever. But she has that other stuff in her, and I feel like it's gonna take a couple seasons to get more out of her. I don't know if we're willing to wait, but I would like to hear more about that 14 Friends thing. Not to blow up her life, but you know, she's a housewife. Let's get into the nitty gritty. All right, let's keep going.
She was a little bit of your punching bag.
I was a dead horse. I turned into glue.
I didn't really understand the analogy of the glue.
They make glue out of horses.
Okay, so what do they have to do, you guys, when they're building this drama, they're building this tension within us? They have to release us at some point or we're gonna do it ourselves. So what do? They use a funny moment with Dorit saying she doesn't really understand the glue horse reference. Not only did they break the tension with that moment, but the music also changes.
I didn't really understand the analogy of the glue.
They make glue out of horses.
Sort of a silly cue that kind of goes along with the moment. Breaks the tension, our shoulders relax, we kind of can take a breath, and then what are they gonna do again? Just like a roller coaster. They do the ramp up. It's always slow because you're like, the anticipation is so much more exciting than the actual fall, except on some roller coasters, the fall is really fun. But you go up, anticipation, they make that slow, and then they bring you down, and then it's da-da-da-da-da, and then they bring you up. Another one, anticipation. So that's kind of what they're doing. Building, letting you go. Building, letting you go.
Out of horses. Lisa said that you said Dorit is a stupid, useless idiot. Crystal and Sutton are pieces of
So I love that they show that intro of Kathy walking in. You know, she's got her bag. They start with her shoes. They do the kind of like pan up like they're wont to do. And then the voiceover of Andy, you know, basically talking to Kathy, and then they cut to Kathy on the couch.
I will destroy Kyle and her family if it's the last thing I ever do.
I was abused by Kathy Hilton.
Baby, you wanted it on camera because your contract was coming up.
Okay, so I loved this part. I felt it was so cool. I'm like, please don't let this just be the best parts in this trailer right now. Just having her call her baby, I was really shook. She just called her baby. Oh my gosh, this is going to be good. She came prepared. She has that strength that, you know, I believe that Kim has. She has that strength with the conflict that I just would dream of having. I always think this comes from, you know, strong women who grew up with a lot of sisters or grew up with sisters. They just know how to handle conflict. I personally am like conflict averse, and I don't know what to do if someone like comes down with conflict on me. I'm like, but that's because I grew up with all brothers. I don't know, I just didn't have to like wield my words in the same way. But Kathy has such strength here. You see the reactions from the other ladies, sort of their eyes, you know, when Lisa makes that comment about being abused by Kathy. Also, you can hear the music is starting to ramp up a little bit too.
Coming up.
Woo. Were you upset with Lisa?
Okay, and then the music ends with that boom, and then you have a stinger coming actually from Garcelle's mouth. Woo. Lisa's face giving that big reaction shot. Drama moments, drama moments, drama.
Upset with Lisa for bringing it onto the show?
Look where we are. Look where we are right now.
You are the biggest bully in Hollywood, and everyone knows it.
Okay, cool. So I love that part so much, what they're doing with that sort of ending, with that flashing on each woman's face, and they do a black screen in between. It's just a kind of like a fade to black transition between them. What I thought was interesting just from an editorial standpoint is usually when they do something like that, they will add a sound effect. But they didn't do that, which I thought was really interesting. And I think why they didn't do that is because what Kathy said was enough. We didn't need sound effects. We didn't need stingers. We didn't need anything to emphasize all of the, you know, reactions of the women, because they really wanted what Kathy said to replay and play in our heads, especially reading all of your guys' comments and just reading Instagram and all that. That's the feeling that a lot of the viewers feel like, is there's just a lot of bully behavior coming from Lisa Rinna. When Kathy says it, she calls it out so boldly, and you know, you see Kyle crying over here, and then they show the reaction shots. It's almost like they did not want to take away from Kathy's words by using big sound effects, which I thought was powerful. I am always excited when they use less music and less sound effects, because they're not trying to push us towards an emotion as much. It just shows that what they actually have is actually very juicy. So that's really it. I am so excited for this reunion. I'm going to be coming out with my reunion episode soon, unless I have a baby. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, liking the videos, commenting. Remember, classy comments only. I love hearing your guys' opinions, so please keep it up. And until next time.
Put me on pause.
Excuse me?
Oh.